Next is the characteristics of particles of matter. The first we have already discussed what is the physical nature. First is matter is made up of particles, and the second thing is the size of the particle is very, very small. Then particles of matter have spaces between them, that we have already discussed in the first activity. In the activity 1 and 2 we saw that the particles of sugar, salt, Dettol or potassium permanganate got evenly distributed in water. When we make tea, coffee or lemonade, particles of one type of matter get into the spaces between particles of the other. This shows that there is enough space between particles of matter. As I have told you, when you prepare the salt solution or sugar solution, what you see? When you add sugar into water, it completely disappears. When you add salt into the water, it completely disappears. Okay, so by this we can conclude that the particles of matter have spaces between them. Okay, second is particles of matter are continuously moving. In order to understand this, you can see at home when you are doing prayer, you burn incense stick, and when you are burning the agarbatti, you can see that the smell of that agarbatti reaches, you burn it in one place in your prayer temple, and then you can smell it all over the house. Same thing happens when you spray a perfume. You can feel that aroma in the whole house, even to a near distance. What does this mean? This means that matter it's continuously moving. Put an unlit incense stick in a corner of your glass. Now, you can understand the difference. When you are not burning an unburnt agarbatti, incense stick is put in one place. How close do you have to go to near it so as to get smell? Will it smell? No. Until unless you go very close to it and put your nose into it, then only you can feel the smell. But if it is lit, if you burn that incense stick, what happens? Do you get the smell sitting at a distance? Yes, of course. You get that. Right? So by this, one more thing is another activity. Take 2 glass beakers filled with water. Put a drop of blue or red ink slowly and carefully along the sides of the first beaker, and honey in the same way in the second beaker. You take 2 beakers. In one beaker you put some ink, and in another beaker you put some honey into it. Leave them undisturbed in your house or in one corner of the class. Record your observation. What do you observe immediately after adding the ink drop, and what do you observe immediately after the addition of honey? How many hours or days does it take for the color of ink to spread evenly throughout the water? This is the another activity. Now what happens? You take 2 beakers. In one beaker you take water and add some ink drop. You will observe that as soon as you put the ink into water, the color of the water starts changing as soon as you drop the ink. So by the time it reaches the bottom of the beaker, the water is already colored. But what does it happen? The same with the honey. You take a glass of water, you put honey into it. Does it dissolve very quickly? No, it doesn't happen. Why? Because honey is thick, is viscous. It's a viscous liquid. Whereas ink, it quickly dissolves or diffuses into the water. Whereas honey takes time. Okay. Another activity. Drop a crystal of copper sulfate or potassium permanganate into a glass of hot water, another containing cold water. Do not stir the solution. Allow the crystal to settle at the bottom. What do you observe just above the solid crystal in the glass? What happens as time passes? What does this suggest about the particles of solid and liquid? And does the rate of mixture change with the temperature? Why and how? What will you observe? You take a glass of hot water and you take a glass of cold water, and into it you add copper sulfate crystals. What will you observe? So we can see that as the time passes, all these three activities, what does this teach? The particles of matter are continuously moving. That is, they possess kinetic energy. What is kinetic energy? It is the moving energy. As the temperature rises, when we increase the temperature, the particles can move faster. Why? So we can say that with the increase in temperature, the kinetic energy of the particle also increases. In the above three activities, we observe that particles of matter intermix on their own with each other. They do so by getting into the spaces between the particles, and this intermixing of particles of two different types of matter of their own is called diffusion. In the first, you saw the incense stick. When you burn an incense stick, what happens? The gases diffuse into the atmosphere and you can smell it from the distance. In the second activity, you saw that when you add a drop of ink into water, it quickly diffuses into the water, whereas honey takes time. And in third activity, you saw that copper crystals dissolve very quickly in the warm water as compared to the cold water. Why? Because as we increase the temperature, the kinetic energy of the molecule increases. So it diffuses more quickly. We also observe that on heating, diffusion becomes faster. Okay? The more to it, the most important thing, that is interparticle space and intermolecular force of attraction, we are going to study in the next explanation. So here what we have learned, what are the characteristics of particles of matter? First, it has a small size. The second, particles of matter have spaces between them with the help of activity we have discussed. Then we saw that particles of matter are continuously moving. They have kinetic energy, and then particles of matter attract each other. Particles of matter attract each other. So for this, again we can do an activity, that is, play this game in the field. Make 4 groups and 4 human chains. The first group should hold each other from the back and lock arms like Idu Mishmi dances. The second group should hold hands to form human chain. And the third group should form a chain by touching each other with only fingertips. Now the fourth group should run around and try to break the 3 chains one by one into as many groups as possible. Which group was the easiest to break and why? If we consider each student as a particle of matter, then in which group the particles held each other with maximum force? Can you answer? Now, so if we are doing this activity, now simply there are 3 students, okay? The three students, they are just holding together with the tip, just like this. These 2 fingers, they are simply touching each other. Then 3 other group, they are holding their hands together. And another 3 groups, they are very closer to each other. Which one is it easy to break? The one which is only holding the tip of the finger, right? As compared to the one which are holding hands. So which will be difficult to break? The one who are very closer to each other, right? Next activity. Take an iron nail, a piece of chalk and a rubber band. Try breaking them by hammering. So which one is going to break first? Iron nail, chalk or rubber band? Which of these particles do you think the particles which are held together with greater force? You will see the chalk breaks easily. The rubber band, if it is stretched more, it can break. And what about iron nail? It can be hammered. Which one? Of course, the iron nail will be having the greater force. And the piece of chalk will be having the lesser one. Then activity 3. Take some water in a container. Try cutting the surface of water with your fingers. Were you able to cut the surface of water? Is it possible? No. The above three activities suggest that particles of matter have forces acting between them. If you have a wooden table in front of you, if you try to break it with your hand, will you be able to break it? No, not at all. Why no? Your hand will break, but you will need a karate player to do that. Because we can't do it. Why? Because the molecules in the solid are very tightly packed. They are very, very close to each other. We cannot break it with our hand. We will need some instrument to cut that wood. Right? Similarly, can we cut water? No, we cannot cut. The molecules are closer to each other. But if it is a gases, the particles are very, very away from each other. Okay, so we can say that this force keeps the particles together. The strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to another. So what we have learned here is that particles of matter attract each other. Some have large force of attraction, some have weak force of attraction, and some have moderate force of attraction. So in this chapter, two basic important thing is the interparticle force of attraction and interparticle space. We will understand this. So by far what we have studied? We studied what is matter. Matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. Secondly, we have learned the physical nature of matter. That is, matter is made up of particles, and matter, the size of the particle is very, very small. Then we learned the characteristic of particles of matter. That is, the size of the particle is very small. Second, particles of matter have spaces between them. Third, particles of matter are continuously moving. That is, they have kinetic energy. And the fourth one is particles of matter attract each other. They have force of attraction between the molecules. These are the 4 points. Now, next is some question answers. Which of the following are matter? So here you can see there are few questions. So what you are going to do is you are going to read this, whatever we have learned today, and you are going to make the notes of it. I am going to give you the notes. You will note down in your fair copy and go through it. Read the activity carefully. Understand. If you have any queries, you can tell. And you will do this question in your note copy. So you make a separate chemistry copy and you will note down whatever notes I am sending you, okay, very fairly, and then you will do this question in your copy. And let me know if you have done the work. Alright, I hope this much is clear to you. So in the next class, we are going to discuss about the 3 states of matter. We will study about the 3 states of matter: solid state, liquid state, and the gaseous state. And then we will also discuss about the effect of changes of temperature. This chapter is very interesting, very important, and you will like it. There are so many reasoning questions into it. Okay? I can proceed today also, but then it will be too much for you today. So till here, you have to read properly, understand. If you have any problem, we can again revise in the next class. But this much work should be done very neatly, and we'll complete the question answers. Alright? Thank you.